Welcome to Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. Our first Reddit post is from Taunt. California teen Google's difficult customer, learns he's wanted in Georgia, gets him arrested. Link to full story. From the article, David Halliday was working at Pechanga Resort and Casino as a spa concierge on Tuesday when he encountered a difficult and demanding customer. Halliday told San Diego news station KGTV that Shaw demanded service ahead of other guests. Just from the offset, he seemed a bit different from the usual guests we have in the spa, Halliday told the outlet. He was also put off to learn Shaw was paying in all cash, and Halliday had a gut feeling that he had seen Shaw somewhere before. The search resulted in multiple stories about Shaw and his alleged ticket scam, and that's when Halliday realized he had seen Shaw on the local news. He informed security at the casino, and they alerted the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, who arrested Shaw at the scene. This comment is from Straight Outta Maine. I love it. If there's one thing you probably shouldn't do as a fugitive, it's bring attention to yourself. This comment is from Stickener. Effective fugitives are the most polite and average people they can be. This comment is from Crystal Baltimore. Some people can't hide who they really are. Asshole is hard to hide. Our next Reddit post is from Jackity6. Demand proof of illness, hope you have eye bleach. Edit: yes, I know Scrub stole my story for his YT channel. No need to comment. I had a boss one time who was such a control freak that she demanded to know specifically why I was calling out sick wildly illegal where I live one day. And for reference, I'm typically the guy who never gets sick, so it wasn't an attendance issue. I told her I think I had food poisoning, turned out to be true, and actually wrote a ULPT based off this story a while back, and she kept pressing me as to explain what my symptoms were and why I couldn't make it in all via text. I had finally had enough and was like, look, I'm not physically capable of working today, and you are not allowed to ask me personal questions about illness and medical history. She threatened me with a write-up if I couldn't specifically explain why I couldn't make it into work. This is where the ProRevenge comes in. I was about to send her something horrific that she could not unsee, and she wouldn't be able to do jack shit about it, since she technically asked for it. Being that I was living in the bathroom for more than 2 days, this inquiry was day one, and had aggressive diarrhea every 15-30 minutes, and the worst abdominal pain I've ever experienced. I lost my shit har and took a pretty disturbing picture of me painting the bowl brown right before I flushed, and sent it to her. No joke, it looked like I power washed the inside of the toilet with feces and built a turd island in the middle of the water. It honestly looked like a poop volcano had erupted. I had no idea your bowels could contain so much. This is happening every 15-30 minutes, and I haven't been able to leave the bathroom for the last 6 hours. Here is your proof. Check the timestamp. Also sent a screen of the timestamp. I'll let you know as soon as I can if I'll be in tomorrow. So after 3 days off, I show up for my shift. Sleep deprived and sore from sleeping in my bathtub or on the floor for 5 days, asshole, not having any of it. But I was finally through the worst. She immediately escorts me into her office, where our regional HR rep is waiting for me, and we all sit down. He has paperwork in front of him and is discussing the incident with me and gets me to acknowledge what I did and that sending unprovoked and offensive content to coworkers constitutes harassment and blah 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 right before he asks me to sign a final write-up. If you do something like this again, you're fired. Before signing, I asked him, did she tell you why I sent this? He was dumbfounded and said this isn't really excusable, and basically handed me a screenshot printout of the text messages where this bitch deleted everything in the exchange in her phone but me saying sorry, but I need to take a sick day today, and the picture. I laughed and handed him my phone and said, here is the full exchange. He asked me to leave and give them a few minutes. About 10 minutes later, he calls me in by myself, that she was the harasser, and that she had aggressively violated privacy laws and would be dealt with, and to call him if anything like this ever happens again. I found out from one of the assistant managers that she ended up getting a final written notice and was super close to being fired, and it prevented her from getting a big promotion that she was being looked at for. So, if you ever come across a dickhead boss who wants to play doctor and question your sick leave, send them diarrhea pics and they'll either STF you or give you lawsuit material. This comment is from Wasmixala671. I really enjoyed how you explained how bad your diarrhea was. This comment is from Jack86. Never before in my life had I experienced anything like it. And the explanation hardly does it justice, IMO. This comment is from A Play with Fire 2. Was she really that stupid? Did she think you habitually delete all of your texts and that you wouldn't immediately be able to pull up the full conversation you had with her? Now, a word from today's sponsor. Surfshark is an all-around VPN solution that can do everything from torrenting as well as streaming to browsing the dark web. Surfshark is one of the very best all-round VPN, terrific for Netflix, torrenting, confidential browsing, as well as staying safe on public Wi-Fi. Check out Surfshark today, link is in the description. Now back to the video. Our next Reddit post is from Kindred Coca-Cola. Hello again, I'm the Gear Artist who's tried the old I'm giving you experience and exposure instead of paying me for some art I did for her real estate business. Just a quick update, and then I'll try to let this fade away. Hello everyone again. I feel bad about posting again because I'm totally not a karma whore, but people seemed to be really invested in it, and there were actually some people from the company in question who contacted me via this throwaway account, so I figure I needed to give some closure, though the story is going to play out for a long time because it's my uncle's divorce is going to be ugly. At this point, I have no idea what's removed and why, what's still out there, what's been cross-posted, etc. So for those who are just checking in, I'll try to reset as succinctly as possible. At the beginning of the year, Mai and Jay by marriage asked me to do some artwork for her new real estate business. We had a verbal agreement that she would pay me. She was demanding, insulting, and shitty from the get-go, and I was out a ton of time, quite a bit of material costs very quickly. She wanted me to fly out on my own dime to finish up. I asked for payment on everything I'd already done, and she freaked out and screamed at me. Tuesday, I went to my school's licensing legal aid office. They helped me draft a letter to cease using my work and an invoice. Aunt Jay called my mom, calling me an ungrateful brat. Mom called Aunt Jay's supposed real estate company to say that one of their agents was not paying for services rendered. Company had no idea who Aunt Jay was. This caused my uncle to look into things, and it turned out Aunt Jay had taken out a few credit cards in his name only and maxed them out. Probably for her Escalade, new real estate agent, wardrobe, and office. My update was Wednesday, so in the following 23 days, quite a bit more information has come to light about what Aunt Jay was actually up to. She's actually not in as big of trouble as I and everyone on the last post assumed, but she's still pretty much screwed in several ways. So first of all, we learned that she probably never told anyone other than my uncle that she was working for the nationwide real estate company in question. Going to call it ProRevenge, my last fake name, may have been a little too obvious. It doesn't look like she had any clients, never brokered a single deal. She may have taken a few people around to look at houses, but we aren't even sure about that. It looks like the soon-to-be ProRevenge franchisee thing was just a lie to get my uncle off her tracks about where this huge influx of cheaply financed money was coming from. She had told him that ProRevenge had financed her new Escalade and that they had helped her rent her office. Since she never actually claimed to be a certified ProRevenge agent in order to defraud people, it doesn't look like the company itself has any legal recourse against her. However, my mom, extreme extrovert opposite of me, who has become fast friends with the most senior agent in my hometown, and he is or has not sure going to report my aunt to the State Board of Real Estate to have her new as of last fall license reviewed and probably suspended. Even if this doesn't happen, she is essentially blackballed from ever doing a deal with ProRevenge, and according this senior agent, something like 45 of home sales in my town happen, with a ProRevenge agent one either side of the sale. So even if Ed J doesn't lose her license, she's effectively chopped half of her business potential right from the get-go. One thing that absolutely came out of my last ProRevenge post was that 2 actual ProRevenge agents commented, and it was because of them that I was able to figure out a huge chunk of the puzzle. So the real-life version of this company uses a very identifiable form of transportation on their logo, but to keep this anonymous, let's say that ProRevenge uses a boat. When Ed J was first talking to me about doing work for her, she was oddly adamant that I don't use any boats in any of the work I was going to do for her. I mean, actually forcefully direct instruction was no boats. In my head at the time I was like, I'm not one to paint boats anyways, but point taken. Well, as me and my family now surmise, while she knew she was already fraudulent, she was still trying to walk a line of not getting on ProRevenge's radar in any way, shape, or form, because she knew they could really screw up her plans if she were to be seen driving an 80,000 Escalade around town with anything resembling ProRevenge's boat plastered. But to me it shows she absolutely knew she was up to no good, and I hope this can be used in the divorce. So on to my uncle. I don't know all the ins and outs of how separations and divorces work, but as I understand, he contacted a lawyer Wednesday afternoon, and they were working to file some sort of emergency separation motion with the courts as soon as they possibly could in order to make sure she couldn't do any more financial damages to him. One thing that I thought was really cool of my uncle to do was that his lawyer did, or is in the process, of filing paperwork, so she has to turn over all financial records and declare all assets related to her business, and my uncle specifically asked the lawyer to include the oil painting and logos I'd already shipped to her. So while I'll never get paid, at least I may get my work back. The lawyer is also figuring out what to do about the identity theft. One thing that is totally screwed up and I totally don't understand is that my uncle has pretty much paid for everything since they've been married about 5 years, and Ed J literally committed identity theft against him. He is still the one who has to leave the house, so at least until he can get a place on his own, he's staying with my parents. My dad says my uncle is basically broken over this, that he didn't see it coming and actually bought into the bullcrap about ProRevenge financing a car for someone who didn't even work for them. This makes me feel bad because I brought it all to light, but my dad says my uncle appreciates it because Ed J could have gotten in much deeper, and she didn't really have a chance to try to and cover up fraud with more fraud. So still a lot I don't know, but this is where we are today. My uncle's lawyer doesn't have a timeline for the divorce. I guess it will just depend if stupid Ed J actually finds a lawyer who will put up a fight, or if she just tries to fade away. We'll see. Thank you for reading. Thank you for all the comments the other day, and thank you to the posters who provided a lot of clarity with their knowledge of relationships and the real estate business. Edit Yeek. Homes are getting a little dodgy. I'm not hot at all. Aunt J looks like she is trying very hard to be in stepmom porn and coming up just short. My ex was really into it. That's how I know about it. Edit 2 just talked with my mom again. My uncle wasn't forced to leave the house. I guess his lawyer advised him that if he felt he was any danger, or if he felt that there was even a slight chance that Ed J would accuse him of harming her, it's best he just leave and they'd work out possession of the house later. It's very hard to reconcile that he was either scared of her or scared of her accusing him with the huge 6'3" dad's little brother who used to throw me around in our pool. Growing up sucks. This comment is from 92,064. Please don't fade away. This story is riveting. This comment is from Popcorn Kerning. Wow, what the fuck? You're like Scooby-Doo, unraveling more and more of the mystery. This comment is from Kindred Coca-Cola. Lol. I don't know if it's interesting enough for another update though. That was Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. If you like this content, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. Also subscribe to our Patreon, as that will help us a lot. See you next time.